Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel and the Saint Story for Kids. Today, let's journey back in time to meet an incredibly brave and kind saint. His name is Saint Joseph of Leonessa, and his feast day is on February 4th. This is a story about courage, helping others, and trusting God no matter what. Saint Joseph of Leonessa was a Franciscan friar from Italy who lived over 400 years ago. You might also hear him called Giuseppe da Leonessa. He is remembered for his huge heart, his love for the poor, and his fearless spirit as a missionary. His whole life was about bringing people closer to Jesus. Joseph was a special kind of Franciscan called a Capuchin. The Capuchins live very simple lives, following the example of Saint Francis of Assisi. They dedicate themselves to prayer and serving those in need. Joseph worked hard to care for people who were suffering. He spent his time with the sick and the hungry, and he preached to people who hadn't yet heard about Christ. His story is a powerful reminder of how faith can give us strength during the toughest times. So, who was this man with such a big heart? He was born in 1556 in a small Italian town called Leonessa. His birth name was actually Eufranio Desiderio. He grew up in a simple, loving family that taught him to pray and trust in God from a very young age. Even as a little boy, Joseph was different. He was quiet and kind, and he had a special concern for the poor. As he got older, his love for prayer grew stronger and stronger. Then, when he was a teenager, he became very, very sick. It was a scary time, but after he recovered, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He decided to give his entire life to God by joining the Capuchin Franciscans. His family was a little hesitant at first, but Joseph was certain this was his calling. At just 17 years old, he entered the Capuchin order and took the name Joseph. Life in the monastery was very simple. He prayed often, fasted, and worked hard to serve his community. He spent these early years learning to live just like Saint Francis, practicing patience, humility, and love in everything he did. He was preparing for a life of great service, even if he didn't know it yet. After a few years in the monastery, Joseph felt a call to do even more for God. He wanted to be a missionary, to travel to faraway lands and share the good news. His superiors saw his passion and agreed to send him to Constantinople, a city we now call Istanbul. At that time, life was very difficult for Christians in that part of the world. Many were held as slaves in the Ottoman Empire. Joseph's mission was to bring them hope and comfort. He preached to the Christians, encouraging them to keep their faith strong. He also bravely tried to speak to the Muslim rulers about Jesus. Life in Constantinople was incredibly hard. Joseph lived on very little food and got almost no sleep. He spent his days preaching and his nights in deep prayer. He would try to visit the Christian slaves to offer them encouragement and support. His mission was fueled by an immense love for God and for these suffering people. Joseph's courage was truly amazing. He even tried to preach directly to the Sultan, the ruler of the empire, hoping to convert him. This was an extremely dangerous thing to do. As you might guess, Joseph was caught and thrown into prison. He was tortured for his faith and sentenced to death. It seemed like his journey was over, but through God's grace and with the help of some friends, he managed to escape and return safely to Italy. After all that suffering, you might think he'd be discouraged, but Joseph's joy and his love for others only grew stronger. When Joseph got back to Italy, he didn't rest. He immediately continued his work, traveling from town to town, preaching missions. He was known for his simple, heartfelt words that touched people's lives and helped them feel closer to God. He had a special place in his heart for the sick. He worked to build shelters for them and would go out begging for food and medicine to help them. Joseph truly believed that when he was serving the sick, he was serving Jesus himself. Even as he grew older and weaker from a life of fasting and hard work, he never stopped. He walked from town to town, always ready to share the good news and help anyone in need. People from all over came to him for advice. They trusted him because he lived his faith every single day. He wasn't proud or selfish, genuinely loved the people he served. His life was difficult, but he never complained. He saw every act of love and service as a way to grow closer to God. Saint Joseph of Leonessa passed away on February 4th, 1612, at the age of 56. Even before he died, many people already considered him a saint because of his incredible life of kindness and holiness. Stories of his good deeds and miracles began to spread far and wide. The Church listened to these stories and began the process to officially declare him a saint. After carefully studying his life, his writings, and the miracles attributed to him, Pope Benedict XIV canonized him in 1746. Today, Saint Joseph of Leonessa is the patron saint of missionaries and all who care for the sick. People also pray to him when they are facing very difficult challenges in their own lives. His example of service, prayer, and incredible courage continues to inspire people all over the world. Many churches and schools are named in his honor. So what can we learn from Saint Joseph's story? It shows us that we don't need to be rich or famous to make a huge difference in the world. He lived a very simple life, but he loved with all his heart. He spent his days serving the poor, the sick, and those who felt forgotten. His example reminds us that every small act of kindness matters. We don't have to travel across the sea to find people who need our love and care. They are right here in our own communities, schools, and even our families. Joseph faced so many hardships. He was imprisoned, tortured, and nearly died for his faith. But he never ever gave up. He trusted God through every single trial. His life teaches us that faith isn't about having an easy, perfect life. True faith is about trusting God, especially when things get hard. It's about choosing to serve others even when it's not convenient. Saint Joseph also reminds us that our faith is meant to be active. He didn't just pray in a quiet room. He went out and helped people, preached. He served the sick, he built shelters, and he comforted prisoners. Our faith should lead us to do the same. Our actions can show the world that God's love is real and that he is always near. So, the next time you feel tired or you wonder if your small efforts are even making a difference, think of Saint Joseph of Leonessa. He didn't always see big, immediate results. He just kept loving and serving day after day. His life is proof that every single good work, no matter how small, is seen by God and has great meaning. Saint Joseph is a shining example of a simple, steady, and courageous love. Thank you so much for joining me today to learn about this amazing saint. I hope his story inspires you to live with more kindness, faith, and courage in your own life. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories about the saints. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and healthy as usual. See you next time, and God bless you always.